Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling. Should we see what's going on our lovely island Fawnhollow today? Where stretch. This is the perfect way to start off any conversation. It's just to like immediately stretch. You know, you should use that in your everyday life. I'm sure it would do wonders for you. Probably don't do that, I'm going to be honest. I'd imagine there's a lot better ways, more engaging ways to actually talk to someone rather than just, you know, being like, hey, I'm not going to talk to you immediately in a conversation. Kind of sort of not disproves the point, but it's kind of counter to the point of having a conversation in the first place anyway. Anyway, what are we going to talk about today? You know what I can talk about today? Well, actually, we'll get into it in a bit. So, hello everyone. Right now in Fawnhollow, it's 5:31 p.m. on Sunday, April 30th, 2023. Do you know, I forgot his name, Alex Becker, whatever. I had no idea what you just said as well, because I just stomped through your dialogue, which is honestly disrespectful of me, but so be it. Alan Becker, he's the person who made those old Flash animated videos of Animator versus Animation way back in like 2010, maybe earlier than that, maybe like 2006 or something. I genuinely don't recall off the top of my head, but he made these very creative videos where it's basically him as the animator fighting his animation he's created. In fact, I think I've spoken about it before on this channel. I don't remember what the episode is called. My guess would be something like animation, but I genuinely can't remember. But basically, the reason I'm talking about it is because I saw it was posted on Reddit again recently, like linked to like one of his newest videos or whatever, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot there was like this whole series, this whole saga going on in his previous videos. There's like, you'd be surprised to hear about he's got a whole series following on from his like little stickmen characters and their overarching story in the Minecraft universe, I suppose. And it's got like plot arcs, it's got everything, and last I left off, it was like, it really felt like it was just really near the end. It was like 1 to 2 more episodes before it actually got to conclusion. And you know, when I saw that one of his videos was posted on Reddit, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that guy. So I checked it out again, and it turns out the final 2 episodes of that arc, I don't know if there's going to be more following on from that, you know. Maybe you'll be watching like 20 years in the future and he's got like 8 series or something, but in which case fair enough. But that arc has finished. He posted the final episodes, and genuinely they are very good, you know. And I don't even mean like, I mean, I don't think they're like groundbreaking or anything. Like, would they be like Oscar worthy or something? No, probably not. But they're still like really, really good, considering like it's basic. I don't think it's all made by him anymore, but it's still basically like directed by him or something. I don't really know the exact details, to be perfectly honest, but I assume he has helpers helping him animate, because if he didn't, then that is straight up absurd, is probably the only thing I can say about that. It was not nonsensical, but like insane, like because you should go see the scope of the animations that they are. They're pretty crazy. Like if you want personal recommendation, just watch the Minecraft series or whatever, the 30 episodes or whatever it is. That, you know, the first 10 are always very entertaining, and then 10 to 20 has like a bit of a mini arc, I suppose, going through it, where it introduces like an antagonist, and then 20 to 30 are just fantastic. They're just so, I think the thing I always like about them most is the fact that they're just really insanely creative, using the mechanics of the Minecraft game and interweaving it with really cool ideas. And I will say that the second last episode is like a musical quote episode, and it is fantastic. In my opinion, it's the best one of the entire series. Even like withholding with finale. The finale's good and all, but that second last one is just like, it's oozing with, I suppose, flavour. Now, I'm not going to be here to do like a critical deep dive, I suppose, into the actual story or like the animation details about that sort of thing, because one, I spoke about the animation I think beforehand, and two, I don't think it's really fair for me to critique a story and this sort of thing, because the thing I'm most impressed by like thinking about it is the fact that it's basically, it's not a one-man project anymore, but it was basically born from like a one-man project, isn't it? Alan Becker one day was just like, I'm going to upload a video of like me trying to fight an animation who's gone out of control or something on my computer, and it'll be fun or whatever. And then it's just like spawned into a mass sort of like, I'm not sure multimedia project's necessarily the right word, but it basically is kind of like a multimedia project, isn't it? Not multimedia, sorry, a big media project, a saga even, which has spanned, you know, countless years or whatever, and has really grown, like, I'm sure more than he can have ever imagined. Like, can you imagine basically like right now, you probably have a hobby of some sort, you know. I'm going to pretend I know what it is. Maybe you like knitting. Maybe you like football or something. Maybe you like bird watching. And then suddenly it just sort of like spirals out of control. Just from a very small thing, which you could probably have never predicted happening, you know? Can you even imagine what that would be like? Because I'm sure he just woke up one day and was like, I have this cool idea for a video and just made it. And now, you know, here we are 15 years later, he's probably got like a million something subscribers watching his videos, which get thousands and thousands of views or something. He's probably got like an entire team working for him, like helping produce his videos, I'd imagine, you know, doing backgrounds and stuff. Like, he doesn't have to do as much media work. He's now like a director, I suppose, or project manager. I don't know really the exact words or his workflow, so I nary guess. That's not how you use nary, but still. It's just weird, and like, I guess what I mean is, like, imagine sort of like your passion project even just becoming huge, and even then it might not even be his passion project. He might not have been like, yes, this is my opus magnum or anything. He just might be like, oh, this is like a fun one-off idea, you know. He's actually got like this really cool like animated series he's always wants to animate or something. And then suddenly it's just like this random project just like blows up for whatever reason, just like becomes so popular. Is that the case? I don't know. You know, that's maybe he's even answered these sort of things. I haven't really looked much into, you know, his other videos except for just the animation things. But it makes me wonder about these sort of things, because especially I feel like you know, at least because I'm not like extraordinarily aware of the animation scene, but I pay attention to things which go on in animation and all that. There's a lot of like these sort of small startup projects-esque, which start from small things and then like become bigger and bigger and bigger, right? Just from, you know, what ended up probably being passion projects, or maybe not even passion projects necessarily, by the people who created them in the first place, you know? Like, obviously, the most recent one I think people know about would certainly be Lackadaisy, just being, you know, I think it started out as a comic, if I recall. Not a comic I've read or seen, so I can't really comment on how good it is, but a comic exists. And now the most recent, like, animated videos, I suppose, of it, as, you know, for episode 1 of the animated series has been released. You know, it's been a long time in the works. You know, I followed a few people who are actually working on it, which is, you know, pretty cool to see. So I can't even imagine just being like that creative, being like, oh yeah, you know, it's my passion project that's finally come to life. That's just like amazing and everything. Like, obviously you do that and you're just like, this is incredible. I cannot believe this is happening. But the flip side is that, like, what if it's just like a small thing, which you basically, it was just like some throwaway thing which suddenly became exactly what you're known for. I'm sure that's happened to creators in the past. I'm not really sure how you would sort of reconcile that your own feelings, I suppose, about it. Because you might see it and be like, yeah, this is amazing, just, you know, any popularity is good popularity. Or you might just be like, this is the worst possible thing which could have happened, you know, why is this the one which blew up? I'm not even passionate about this, but this is now how I need to make my livelihood. I'm sure it could really tarnish your viewpoint about that sort of thing. Like, one I especially think about is, what's his name? Jeff Kingsley? Something like that. The person who writes Greg Heffley's Diary of a Wimpy Kid, where he's just like, did he expect Diary of a Wimpy Kid to be that big? And I'd imagine a lot of these cases is, yes, we do expect them to be that big, because that's generally the thing that they put the passion into. You generally need like a baseline level, I suppose, of creation for things to really take off. Very rarely are things just completely random and they just become extremely popular or something like that. But it's not unheard of, I would say. Still very possible. But I wonder if he was just like, oh, you know, this is my simple, you know, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, just whatever. And just that ends up being like your biggest thing. Because he did some like tweet recently, and there was some what I was thinking about it, but excuse me, he did some tweet where I was just like, oh, Jeff Heffley is going to outlive me and you know, everyone you could ever know or something. Which is like, I don't know. And I'm trying to think of, like, what would my equivalent of that be? I'm not really sure, to be honest, but like, it would be like my, I don't know, what's this, like my Snakebird series or something, just becoming my most popular series. Obviously, it's not really in the grand scale of things, because this YouTube channel is not that big, to be honest, but it'd be, you know, I mean, I said I wanted to start like posting my short stories online, and then it just being like the first story I made, or like the worst story I think I did, just ended up being the one which people like got completely enamored by for whatever reason, and that like sort of spawns lots of different projects. I don't know. What would I feel like if that happened? I don't... I suppose it would be rather conflicting in a sense, and I'd be like, I'm not really sure how this happened. But I think it's the sort of thing where I think the initial reaction would be sort of one of resentment, you know, loathing, being like, well, actually, no, I think the initial reaction's obviously excitement, you know, anything blowing up is awesome. But then, like, as you try and sort of like, you don't care about projects as much, you don't put as much time into it, you start sort of trying to point to your other projects, being like, hey, if you like this, maybe you like that, but then people just don't like latch onto that. I think that's when the resentment starts coming in, you know, like literally 5 states of greed, so like, you know, well, I guess it doesn't really start. Denial, nothing's wrong. Anger, you know, why aren't people paying attention to the other things I like? Bargaining, please check out this other thing I made, I put a lot of work and effort into this. And then sadness, no, this is it, I'm just resigned to doing this for the rest of my life, this one like project which I don't care about, and you know, you hate. And then, you know, acceptance, where it's like, you know, it's growing on me. That sort of thing. You might be like, I don't think that happens, in which case I'd be like, probably not. But still, ain't it interesting to kind of think about, to ponder if that's how things would be? No? You know what, fair enough. I don't really know where I was going with the rest of this, because it turns out I didn't have much more of a conversation to follow on from that, but it's just interesting to think about, isn't it? No? How things sort of just like come to be. Just, you know, the fickleness, I suppose, of popularity, of what people enjoy, really sort of rears its head in this conversation. Oh wow, there's a lot of things to do. Okay, cut down trees. Berry tree, cat. Okay, we should try and catch bugs if we see bugs. And I don't mean Bugs Bunny. You know? I don't even know what to title this episode. How do I convey this concept? Like the concept of like unpassion project. Passionless project. Something like that. So it's like passion project, but it's not passion project. You get me? I'm so SMRT. I am so smart. In the infamous words of Homer Simpson. I wonder how many things out there are like unpassion projects, you know? Or, I mean, I don't want to say passionless projects, because that's not really what I'm talking about. I'm trying to sort of like talk about the inverse of the idea of a passion project coming to life. I wonder how many things are sort of like born out of spite. It's like a spiteful project rather than a passion project. It's weird to think about. I'm sure there's stories about it, but I can't say I know much of the origins of many different media properties or things in the first place to really talk about it. But there's surely some creators who hate some of their creations. You know, isn't it? It's like completely irrelevant, but I'm pretty sure like Colonel Sanders hates what KFC's become, right? That comes to mind. The person who made that Norton antivirus, or was it McAfee? I don't know. One of those antivirus people hates their antivirus. I think it's McAfee. I don't even know how I say it. McAfee? Or whatever. I think he absolutely hates what it's become, or whatever. It's like antithetical. And we need one more seashell to the entire point of it in the first place. I'm sure it happens a lot as well with, you know, I'm trying to think of another thing where, like, Lauren Faust, you know, always reference My Little Pony, of course, but, who did a first season of My Little Pony and then, like, directed the first season? I can't remember, like, created the first season of Generation 4 My Little Pony, and then eventually, you know, left a thing because, I suppose, probably corporate disputes or whatever. And then, you know, I don't think she resented it, she still loved it, but it, like, hurt, I'd imagine, to see what it became. Not that it became bad, necessarily, but it definitely went, I'm sure, in a lot of different direction. A far different direction of what it could have been. But for the sake of, appeasing, like, I was going to say, like, overlords, but overlords isn't really the right word. For the sake of appeasing corporations, you know? I suppose it's never been more true, that Batman quote about, like, either die a hero, live long enough to see yourself become a villain. You know, either you leave, you end your project as you want it, or you let it go on long enough to see it become what you hate most. You might be like, that's not a very eloquent way to say that entire thing. I feel like Batman encapsulated it better, and I would be very inclined to agree with you, you know. I don't have a lexical prose there. Batman seems to have, so what can I really do about it? Yeah. Unpassion project. Impassion project? Impassion sounds like a word. Let's see. Define impassioned. Despite that fact, it's not the opposite. Impassioned. Oh, it's showing great emotion. So impassioned is the same as passioned. Impassionate. But there's something which is impassionate. Is this an actual word? Impassioned? No. What's the opposite of apart from passionless? Opposite of passionate. Apathetic, phlegmatic. Passionate. Passionless. It's not really what I wanted though, but do we have enough things here to sound? Make a good 5,000 or so. How do we have so many battles? A lot more than I expected. Probably because we had a peacock butterfly, you know. Should have taken that into consideration, but that's okay. We're farming up these Nookmar missions anyway, which is the important part. I guess we'll hunt for whoever our recipe crafter is today, and at some point I gotta actually start drawing this thumbnail out for the next series, following on from Here Comes Nico. Should I give a little hint of what it is? It's a game that many people have recommended me to play, so there's one hint. I think it came out last year, or the year before that. It's very recent. I mean, it's a bit hard to give hints because I don't actually know much about the game itself. It's got a very cute character leading it. How about that? You might say that doesn't really narrow things down per se, but I don't know, maybe you can figure it out. Detectives on the case, and plus I think I've already spoken about it if you wanted to watch the anniversary video. I think I mentioned all the 3 upcoming series, but you know, who goes that far in a video anyway? I was just trying to think of like what my Passionless project would be. I think we'll just go with the title Passionless project. I mean, you could probably see why I eventually ended up springing for, but it just sort of fits best, doesn't it? Rolls off a tongue nice. It was just a really fun series. And, you know, I feel like you must have passion for it to keep it going that long. But there's not many things I think you can continuously work on forever without the passion for it. I'd imagine if you didn't have a passion for it, you would just sell off the rights to it and, you know, let someone else take over the reins or whatever, wouldn't you? I don't know if that's necessarily true, but that feels like a reasonable thing to do. Right? If one of the small things I made was just like started like blowing up for whatever reason, and I, you know, didn't actually like working on it or whatever, but you know, people loved it for whatever reason, then I'd be like, okay, you lot can go wild with this. I'm just gonna, you know, go to the corner over here and continue my own projects after I sell it for like $1 bajillion. Yeah, sounds good. I don't really know where I was going with this. Oh, apparently we have some flowers here. Just sort of feels like that's how it goes. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't come to that conclusion earlier. I was just like, oh my god, we have so many lily of the valleys. Guess I haven't cleared them for a while, but yeah, you could just sell it off, couldn't you? It's not like you have to work on it forever. Unless the money is very tempting, in which case, you know, I can't blame you for trying to make a livelihood. Well, in that case, it would be something you would work on for ages, and then you would just, you know, sell it off to actually chase your passion projects in the end, right? That's also probably happened a lot. Anyway, I don't know. I am going to round this episode off here, so if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Twitter, Discord down below. Hope we see you again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.